what's up everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. I like when this time comes around because there's a lot going around, especially in the summer, towards the fall end of things. And there's two big announcements that are on the way. The Canon 6D Mark II, which is going to be announced this month in just like 2 weeks. And the Sony A7 III. Now there's A7R III and S3, which a lot of people want, but there's not a lot out about that. Let's see what we know about is coming out. There were some leaked specs and everything that have been basically confirmed, and some of the things we don't know. But I'm super excited to talk about the Canon 6D Mark II. Now I'm hoping this 6D Mark II just does a lot. I will invest in this camera if it is what it says it's going to be, and here are some of the things we know so far. When the original Canon 6D came out, it had its own 20.2 megapixel sensor. It was your basic, kind of like a Nikon D600, D610 full frame camera. It came in at a great price. It's very cheap now. It's like $1,300, so you're getting a lot of value for something like this, and the 6D is actually still a great camera. Just like the 600 and the 610 is a great camera, they're just not that fast. It had the best imaging processor at the time. The autofocusing system, once again, wasn't the fast, but the ISO did very well. 4.5 frames per second, no tilt screen or anything like that. Did 1080p video at 30 frames per second, but that was years ago. Now in 2017, it's saying that we're going to get a new dedicated 26 megapixel sensor, which makes sense, and 26, 24, whatever. I guess it really doesn't matter. And it's going to fall in line with having the dual pixel AF for video. And the big thing for a full frame camera from Canon is to have that very angled touchscreen. So that will be huge, and maybe a lot of Canon 80D users, since it might be around a similar price, $1,400, $1,500, only a couple $100, is that this might be the upgrade you need if you want to get full frame, and that's what I think I would do. I would sell my Canon 80D to get the 6D Mark II and go from there. Maybe build out some Canon lenses as well. So the biggest thing we don't know, and that's not confirmed, is will it have 4K video? Will it do 1080p at 60 frames per second? I would at least hope that they do, because Canon's been putting 1080p 60 in a lot of their recent cameras since they haven't really been doing 4K. So that will be the biggest thing to know. But we will find out June 29th when the announcement is going to happen, because this will start shipping in August. So, you know, you got to wait a whole month for that to ship, but I'm super excited to finally hear about that. So we'll talk about that. The other thing to talk about is what we do know. We know a lot about the Sony A7 III, which also has an announcement coming soon. Not fully sure about that, but just basically jumping into it, it's going to have a little bit of the A9. It's going to have a 24 megapixel sensor, so not something uber big like 60 frames per second or 60 megapixels or whatever, like some people were talking about. It's going to have a touch screen, which has been starting to get put into the things, joystick. The interesting thing is that it should have 4K recording, because right now the Sony A7 II doesn't. It just has 1080p video, so that would be a big addition to put into something like this. And comparatively priced, this is cheaper than the A7S and R II with the higher resolutions and everything like that, and the 4K video. So we'll see how that runs in regards to that, but it's probably going to have the same build. Now, we don't fully know if it's going to have the new battery and a dual SD card system. I would most likely guess that this would get the new battery before a dual SD card. If this has a dual SD card and the new battery, I almost don't see the point of buying an A9 unless you shoot sports, and I don't know, maybe will that help the blackout in this A7 III as well. So that's some of the stuff we don't know, but we do know a lot about both of these combined together. So I don't know, maybe $1,500, $1,600 for the 6D Mark II, which it would be worth it. And if it has 4K, that's just a bonus. I don't really care about that right now. The original right now is going for $1,300. Sony A7 III is $1,600. So think of it around there. I had the Sony A7 II for about a month before an adapter killed my camera, and I actually really enjoyed shooting with it because I didn't need 4K video. I didn't want to go above $2,000. It was $1,700 at the time. But Canon 6D Mark II, Sony A7 III, what are you excited for? What are you hoping it has? And what don't you really care if it does or not? Should this Canon have 4K video? Is this A7 III going to be a disappointment at all? Or do you think it's going to be a little mini A9? That's a big extreme. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. When these fully come out, we will fully cover this. But this is what we know and we don't know so far. Coming up close to the 6D Mark II announcement.